you know what? These movies, I don't care if you spoil it for me.
Well, I didn't see anything with a spoiler.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. So, like, what the heck?
Not that I know.
Well, but you saw another whodunit, so we'll get there. All right, we'll talk about it when we get there.
Let's go.
Cheers. All right, welcome back to another episode of Diego and Sam Know Nothing.
The show where we know nothing about movies, but everything about beer.
That's right. Yeah, that is true.
Today's going to be a beer episode.
Yeah, let's just talk about all the beers we have.
Talking about Double White.
This
big
is
here in New Mexico.
Craft beer in general is big in New Mexico, so that's why we always have a beer here. All right,
we got
agenda today.
Packed one.
There's a lot going on. I would like to start with Death on the Nile, if that's cool with you.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to hear your thoughts. What'd you think?
So I had to go see it because it's already been out for a while. So I'm trying to knock these out as they come out. It's been out 2 weeks.
So like it doesn't get too far in the past.
So like I still got.
Because it was the weekend before, right?
Yeah.
It was last week.
The 7th or 8th.
Yeah. So you were a week behind.
Yeah. So it's like I gotta go watch it. I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I felt like it was the first 2 acts were just very slow.
Yeah.
They weren't bad. They just kind of dragged on.
Okay.
Once we got to the 3rd act, we got to the pointing fingers and the whole situation. There, I'm not gonna say names for things.
Okay.
Because there's no need to say.
You're not gonna spoil anything?
It's not a spoiler. It's just a thing.
Okay.
Somebody in this movie did a very great job, and I enjoyed their performance. Very much. And I very much thought they were gonna like be thrown to the back, but they were very much a main player.
I see.
And I enjoyed that performance a lot.
You better not say his name.
Definitely.
I
I didn't even say it's a he.
You will ruin us.
I didn't even say it's a he. I said somebody had a good performance.
Cool.
Because then if I say who it is, then they're gonna be like, oh, maybe that's the person.
Yeah.
So I don't want. I'm not gonna say anybody.
Oh, okay. I got
like
you.
The main female role, which is the main one.
Gal Gadot.
Very good job too. And I knew right away. Well, is this a spoiler?
Yeah, go for it. I don't care.
I knew right away she was the killer. I was like, oh, it's got to be her. It wasn't her.
Oh.
But I knew from the start of the movie. I was like, oh, come on, it's her. It wasn't.
That's good.
It wasn't.
That's good.
It wasn't.
Because that means they...
But then I immediately went to my next person. I was like, it's clearly this person. And it was. So that's kind of where my bummer moment came from.
Oh, okay.
Because there was a huge cast.
Right.
But you could immediately start eliminating people. Like, definitely wasn't you. Definitely wasn't you. Why would you do it?
Gotcha.
I don't even know why you're what you're doing here.
Why are you in the movie?
For sure wasn't you. So you could eliminate everybody down
right away
in the story, and it's like it's got to be one of these 3 people.
Well, and that's different than your experience that you just had with Scream, right? Where you were like,
Scream was so much better because I had no idea.
Yeah, it was.
I had no idea until that moment.
But they're both murder mysteries, and yes, I understand. Like one's a thriller, one's a straight up horror. Mm-hmm. But they were both murder mysteries where you try to guess who done it, but you nailed it on. Well, I mean, obviously you didn't get. Yeah, I mean, by the second try, you got it.
Okay, cool.
And Scream, you had no idea.
No, Scream, I didn't know till the moment they said it,
which is awesome. Which is awesome.
So that's why it was more fun. But this movie had some really cool shots. Like it takes place obviously in Egypt. Yeah. So there were some really cool shots, but again,
it's on the Nile.
It's on the Nile in Egypt, but it kind of dragged, and it didn't make it bad. Yeah. But I guess I went in and I thought it was from beginning to end gonna be suspense the whole time, and it wasn't that because they lay a lot of groundwork.
Okay.
As to the history of these people, where they came from, why they're here, why they're all on a boat. And it's good.
Right.
So if you like that story development.
But that's tough.
That story gives it. This movie gives it to you.
Because you need that every time you do a murder mystery, it's like you got to introduce all the characters and say why they're there.
They did a scene where
give them all motive and
exactly. So they did that, and they're all at a dance bar, and it's like, well, the Johnny over there would do this, and then him, and so they set it up in that moment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, cool, snippety snap, I'm ready. I know why everybody's here.
Yeah. So you thought the exposition scene was quick.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, cool. They knocked it out. Let's get on the boat.
But then they
other stuff. I'm like, oh.
Then they pumped the brakes. You're like, come on.
I was like, all right. So
All right.
Cool. So we're gonna take a detour, and it wasn't a detour. It was still part of the story.
I get you.
But they came in, did it. I was on board with everybody, so I'm like, let's go.
But then they slowed
And
down.
then it was like an hour of other stuff, and then they did that.
Gotcha.
But again, Kenneth Branagh did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, did you watch?
I could say Kenneth Branagh's name because
he's the detective.
Yeah, clearly was not.
But did you watch Murder on the Orient Express?
I don't. Yeah, but it was a while ago.
Oh, okay.
I saw it once when it came out.
That was good. Yeah, me too. I saw it in theaters, and then I didn't see it again. And that's why I wanted to watch this movie, because I was like, hey, I had a good time on Murder on the Orient Express.
A good movie.
Yeah.
Like, it was
very
well put together. Like, everybody did a great job.
It was well made.
Oh, I can't remember her name. From Black Panther.
Oh, well.
Letitia?
Yeah, Letitia, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. She did so good. She was my
nice.
favorite.
Oh,
If I had to pick a favorite character, she's my favorite character.
Dang.
Wasn't going to say names, said her name. Damn it.
Oh, man.
He's not the killer. But yeah, she did a phenomenal job. She had some really quippy dialogue. That was really, really funny.
Interesting.
So I enjoyed every scene she was in.
I'm still going to catch this movie, but probably not until down the road.
I mean, you do it on streaming.
Whenever it hits streaming, I'll give it a watch, because I did, like I said, enjoy Murder on the Orient Express, and so
kind of hard to understand what they're saying sometimes.
Yeah,
because I mean, they're
like subtitles.
They're all French.
Oh,
in Egypt from London.
Sure.
So I'm not.
You're like, yeah,
French people.
You're like dialects.
In Egypt from London.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand where, like, they're from London.
Yeah.
But they're French people. There was, and maybe I was reading too much into it.
Yeah, maybe.
But I didn't understand.
All the, like.
I know why he's French. No, he's Belgian. Belgium. He's from Belgium. Kenneth Branagh's character is from Belgium.
They all speak English.
But they're
different
all
dialects.
Yes. How was Uncharted? I'm going to stop right there.
Yeah.
No, it was good.
Let's not dig that hole.
I definitely recommend you see it. Like,
I will.
It's not a bad movie. When I say it dragged on again, I was just going in and thinking like, "Yo, we're gonna be hot from the start."
Right.
So I had the wrong mindset of it.
Maybe, but.
So you might be like, no, dude, I needed that development to know why we got to where we needed to get to. But I felt like the quick one that they did, I'm like, cool. Got everybody's backstory.
Ensembles are hard because Knives Out also had this.
Knives Out was great,
such a good movie, but it still has to do the same thing, which is we got to go down the line. We have to introduce everybody. We have to tell you why they would have done it.
Some people still didn't understand why they were there.
Yeah, so you're like, what the heck?
Yeah. Thinking about
you're like, maybe it wasn't a good movie.
No, it really was. But again, you can eliminate. I already know the six of you have nothing to do with this,
which is not good.
Yeah. So there was
I'm eliminating half the cast.
6 people. I told you when we got on the boat. I'm like, it's gonna be none of you guys.
Yeah. Okay. Which is a bummer.
Which was a bummer.
Because you want it to be potentially everybody, anybody.
No,
yeah.
Again, I super thought it was Gal Gadot because she was just being weird. She's just like a weird person. I'm like, it's gotta be her.
So.
And then I was like, okay, so it's not her. So I went to the next person, and then it was. I'm like, I was like, Are you afraid? It was a toss-up.
Are you afraid to say who it was? You can tell me who it was. I don't. You can spoil it for me. If you want to. Yeah. I don't care.
You want to know?
It's not gonna mess up the movie.
It's super obvious. It's dumb.
But
had Gal Gadot's character not been acting weird, I would have automatically known it was the other person.
Oh, okay.
Automatically known. But Gal Gadot started acting weird. I'm like, why is she acting that way?
Which, again, the director is probably like, you need to act this way so that we can throw people off.
And then they explain it.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
yeah, all right. But yeah, you can tell me who
it was the ex-girlfriend.
Oh. Of Gal Gadot?
Of Gal Gadot's husband.
Oh.
Because she was following him around the whole movie.
So then you were like, obviously.
So I'm like, you're stalking them.
It's you.
So up until they got on the boat, I was like, crazy pants over here. It's going to be the one. Look at her. She's following them around. What a freak. Just keeps showing up places.
Yeah.
And then when they got on the boat, Gal Gadot started being all jumpy with stuff.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, man, that's all right. Maybe it's not.
Oh.
And then it was the ex. I'm like, And then when it's like, oh, why did I switch up my mind?
Right.
It's clearly the ex-crazy girlfriend that's following him around.
So you initially thought it was her.
I knew right off the top. I knew in the first scene of the movie. I shit you not.
My God.
I knew in the first scene of the movie, I was like, yep, it's her.
Because she's the ex-crazy girlfriend.
Ex-crazy. She's like, she was just crazy. So I was like, she's clearly capable of doing this.
Oh my God.
So then an hour goes by and they get on the boat. And I don't remember anybody's character name.
Great movie.
Great movie. Don't know any of the characters. Gal Gadot started acting real jumpy. And I'm like, maybe now she was like planning something. And now she's nervous. But then when I found out it was the ex-girlfriend, I'm like, I shouldn't have switched it up. It was so obvious.
Yeah.
But that's what bummed me out. So now I can talk a little bit better. I knew instantly who it was. I'm sorry. Like, if you got through this whole movie and didn't know, good for you. But I'm like, yo, crazy ex-girlfriend still in love with this guy. Like, she's pulling triggers by the end of the movie. Like, she has to be.
Which is, again, I think that's
so I was bummed out
fun.
about that.
Yeah.
But then I felt I felt like rejuvenated after. I'm like, oh, whoa. Maybe it's not her.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now they got me back in. Now we're good. And then it turned out to be, I was like,
But you know what bugs me about that, though, is that that obviously they felt like, and again, and this can go back from a writing perspective, right? Because these are all murder mysteries by Agatha Christie.
Yes.
And even then, when she's writing the story, and I've never read any of the books because we don't read books here, obviously there was enough to be like, well, I think I'm being too obvious, so I'm going to intentionally mislead the viewers. Yeah. Right? And I don't like when there's like an intentional, and I know there has to be a little bit so
Scream
that.
Didn't.
But see, yeah, exactly. You know, it's possible.
And then when Scream was, like, it explained itself.
As long as you're right, as long as there's reasoning behind the being misled, then it doesn't feel like the movie's calling you stupid, right?
Yeah.
And that's like the whole thing is, don't treat your audiences like they're stupid. Yeah. They are very smart people because obviously you're able to figure it out in the first scene.
And somebody might be like, there's no way you could. I'm like, crazy ex-girlfriend.
Come on.
Like,
come
on. But yeah.
So
good.
That's
You still definitely got to watch. Again, I don't think you'll watch them, but we'll already know, like, who cares? Because like there's still enough that happens.
Yeah.
Like when they're looking for the murder weapon and when like people are missing from their rooms and like people are docking and coming off and on the boat, the staff, the chefs, the cook, like it's all this stuff. Yeah. So like I was still engaged the whole time.
Sometimes how it happened is more interesting than who did it.
Correct.
Right?
So at the end of it, and they do this thing where he's naming names and everyone's going and I'm like, oh, that was so bad. Because they're like, well, it was actually Timmy that was in the kitchen. And everybody goes, and I'm like, that seems not over in tone with the movie. Oh, no. He couldn't have.
I'm
like, that's cartoonish.
Like a dinner murder mystery that you would go to. And people are like,
he was the one. Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. And they only did it twice. But it was like, I'm like.
It took you out of it, though.
Guys, that was too goofy. And then when they did that, I'm like, no, I definitely know you're not the killer because you're super surprised. Or like, whatever. That was good.
That's good.
Check it out. Cool. Don't need to see it in theaters.
Well, and I had both options, right? I had the option to watch Death on the Nile or Uncharted, and I was like, honestly, I went to Rotten Tomatoes and I was like, look, Death on the Nile has a better rating.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
So I want to go see the better movie. So originally I was going to go see Death on the Nile, but then I was like, you know what? I just want a fun time. So I'm going to go see Uncharted.
Yeah.
And
the right call.
And it was a really, really fun time.
Mm-hmm.
And
but Uncharted's also super flip-flopped.
Yeah, it is because a critic score is like
35. Yeah, and then audience is 90.
Yeah.
You're like, ooh.
And that was also I had big reservation. Like, well, usually I side more with the critic side of things. So if critics are like, man, this is a 30-something%, then usually I'm gonna be like, dang, I'm gonna think this movie is a piece of crap.
That's bad.
But I watched it and I had a really fun time. Okay.
How many of the games did you play?
I played 2 of them.
2 of them?
Yeah,
okay.
at least 2 of them.
I just did the first
one. I might have done it. I might have actually done all 3.
I just did the first one.
I think there's 3 of them.
There's 3.
Yeah. I think, and so I honestly may have played all 3 of them. But
it's been so long.
this is not based on the game. Like I know it's called Uncharted. I know it has Nathan Drake in it. I know people were like, "Oh my gosh, it's a video game adaptation. It's done by Sony and their movie studio." That's great. That's fine. It's not based on the game. Like, it's ridiculous that they would even go this route.
Is that how they're advertising it?
What, based on the game?
Yeah, like, oh, the video game brought to life, like type of thing.
I don't know. I actually
haven't noticed. Like,
I haven't seen
anything from Sony.
Right, but again, Sony made it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But they don't make, like, they're not a major player in it.
Right.
So when I go watch my stuff, like, Sony doesn't immediately pop up as somebody that I'm looking at movies information from.
Right, yeah.
So I haven't actually heard what Sony's had to say.
Yeah.
Only what the main reviewers have had to say, and they don't work for Sony.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know if they're advertising this as like, yo, this is the game in real life.
Well, I guess I should clarify. So when I say Sony made it, obviously Sony is a production studio, but I'm talking about Sony PlayStation.
Correct.
Actually, like Sony has a PlayStation division to make movies now.
Yes,
yeah. So
which
I just want to clarify a little bit.
The intro.
Yeah.
So
they have a PlayStation intro.
Yeah.
So
at the beginning, that's going to be going forward. Like,
right. Exactly. So like obviously now we have a video game division of our production studio that's going to bust out these video game adaptations, right?
Which I'm fine with.
Which is cool and it's awesome. And then even like when they're showing stuff, I was like, oh man, I would love to see a God of War movie, right? Like, it would be so
could you imagine
good.
That?
But when you go so far, there are some times where Tom Holland feels like Nathan Drake because he's climbing something, and when he puts on
this classic shirt and the
holster? Thank you. Couldn't remember holster. When he puts on the holster and you're like, oh yeah, like that's cool.
Yeah,
but
he's just not.
Yeah. So a couple of things, right?
Okay.
Tom Holland miscast for sure. 1,000%. Not Nathan Drake. I wish they would have picked somebody else. He's not the right fit for this role. I love Tom Holland in this action movie, but if you're saying I'm going to make Uncharted and I need a Nathan Drake, never would I have said, go look at Tom Holland for Nathan Drake. Okay, so...
And they want Nathan Fillion to do it?
Maybe he looks like Nathan Drake.
That's what you're saying,
because
he did like a fan, like a YouTube short movie of it.
And he was in?
At that time, this was a while, and everyone's like, hello?
Well, and that's tough, right? Because Mark Wahlberg was supposed to play Drake.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, when he was originally attached with David O. Russell. Russell? David O. is what I would call him. I think it's Russell. He was going to be Nathan Drake. Which even then, I'm like he probably still was a better fit. Because I always pictured Nathan Drake as an older man.
Yeah. Not an old man.
Not an old man, an older man.
Yeah, older than Tom Holland. Tom Holland's young guy.
He's 17 still.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how, but he's definitely a teenager. And I was like, all right, fine. But if you tell yourself, like, and I think most people going to see this movie actually are not Uncharted players.
And I think that's why the audience score is so high.
Right, because as an action movie, you're like, oh, that's cool. This is actually a really cool, fun action flick.
That's great. I'm glad.
Yeah, but they do something in this movie. So there's two like major gripes I have with this movie. And one of them is the villain in this movie, the big bad, is so awful. It's such a bad villain.
Not even scary.
And it not even a little bit. And the reason being is because they don't actually become the true villain until the third act.
Oh.
And it's so it seems like there are no stakes in the movie until the very end. Like, you don't actually really know what would happen to Nathan Drake if he didn't go on this mission, right? There's no reason other than his pride that he wants to go and fulfill this adventure. Because he even, like, halfway through the movie, he's like, I'm out. I'm done. Like, and as an audience, you're like, yeah, he has no reason to be here. None, other than...
Dang, that's bummer.
Yeah, like, he could go home and his life would stay the same. But it wasn't, like, it's not like if you, like, go find the gold or I'll kill your wife and children.
Yeah.
And you're like, I have to find the gold and I cannot quit. Like, that is not, like, there are no stakes because the villain is not even, like, a real villain.
Did they bring in, like, a motivation?
No.
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 That's super hard to, like, root for somebody then.
It's just two people who want to find gold. Right? And And that's why I'm like, it's fine. Like, there's no real reason for them to go other than they want to because they like to, and I'm like, whatever. It doesn't take away from the fact that it's a fun action movie, but it does. I could see why critically people are like, this is not a good movie, because why do I care about what this character's doing if he doesn't even know why he's doing what he's doing? Okay. So no stakes, due to the fact that there's no real villain or anything terrible going on, right? Okay, but this movie does something that irritates me beyond no end. And in a video game, it works. In a movie, it does not.
I've heard that a lot.
What this?
People,
well,
I don't know, but people are like, "Yo, this is a great video game, but not like it. It can't transfer to be a movie."
And I'm gonna tell you
again. I don't know if it's the same thing, but I heard a few people say that.
I don't know. I haven't watched not one review for Uncharted. But when you have a video game, the biggest obstacle usually in that video game is bad guys, right? You have a lot of bad guys. You have a lot of goons.
Yeah.
A lot of NPCs coming after you. And even in Uncharted, you kill those people. Like, you shoot those people and you kill them. And for some reason in a video game, you're like, yeah, I'm cool with that. I'll kill somebody.
Well, yeah,
to get to the goal.
You're trying to progress level to level.
Right.
Like checkpoint to checkpoint, whatever you want to call it.
But in a movie, it doesn't work because Tom Holland is killing people. He's murdering people.
Okay.
And he does not care at all. At all. Because the movie, for lack of a better term, is sending NPCs after him, right? All the bad guy goons are going after Tom Holland. And he's kicking them off and shooting them and hitting them, and they're dying.
Okay.
And there's no remorse for it whatsoever. Like, never is he like, oh my God, I'm killing people. Like, dude, you're straight up murdering people. And you don't feel anything about that? Like, no part of you is concerned that you are murdering all these people? Everybody's murdering people in this movie.
Is it a violent movie?
Not at all. And I'm going to give you another little detail that's...
It's PG-13, so I mean,
yeah.
How many people's... I mean, they're all...
Do you care if I spoil something for you?
I really, really don't.
Okay. All right.
I really
don't. So the whole movie, you think there's a villain, and you think it's Antonio Banderas, okay? So you think he's the villain of this movie. And, God, I forget that girl's name. And I really should have remembered because she's amazing in it. But he has someone who's working for him who's trying to stop Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg, which is Sully and Nate Drake, right? And you get the sense that she's sort of like his right-hand man. You know, go out and take care of business for me. So he's in charge. She listens to what he says. Well, in the third act, she slits his throat. She slits Antonio Banderas' throat. Okay? It is the worst throat cut I've ever seen in my whole life.
Did she do it with like a toothpick or something?
She did it with a blade that she can, like, for your ring finger, and then she puts it here and then slices his throat, and it literally looks like someone got like red food coloring and just like went across his neck. No wound. The smallest amount of blood I've ever seen a neck wound produce. Awful. Like a high school play, like cutthroat. Like it was a terrible death scene for this movie, and that's how they introduce her as the new bad. Is like she kills her boss. Now she's in charge, and everyone's also like, "Yeah, this makes sense," and they just go along with it. And you're just like, "What?" Like, I have no idea why they would just be okay with it. And I feel like it didn't set her up to be the villain. And so when she becomes the villain,
ran out of time. Or
and
just put her in.
So it was a mess, and it didn't, because it doesn't matter who the villain is, obviously, right? If they're like, we can just swap them, we'll just swap the villains at the very end, and it actually changes nothing for Nate and Sully at all. Doesn't make a difference who the villain is. You could swap them, and they won't care because they're after the same thing, which is treasure. Great movie, so much fun.
Great movie.
Had a blast.
Movie sucked. Were the cutscenes just lead into next movies?
Yeah, they were. Okay. They were.
I mean, I'm hearing they're gonna do another one.
And they should, because okay, I know I just shut on this movie for a little bit here, but great action sequences, and
aside from the murders.
Yeah, I'm just like, come on, why are you murdering people, Tom Holland? You're Spider-Man. You don't do
Come
that.
on, Parker, what are you doing?
You don't do that. There is a time where he's like running and he's doing like, actors have to do like the sound booth effects where they're just like, whoa, oh, ah, and they like land and like, huh. All of that from Tom Holland sounded like Spider-Man to me. Yeah, like it just couldn't get out of my head. He's like making those sounds, and I'm like, it sounds like Spider-Man's running on the rooftops here. But
you don't want that because then he's just Spider-Man forever.
Right.
But he can definitely be more, I believe.
Absolutely.
But again, we've only seen him as Spider-Man, so I understand.
Is he an action star, though?
No, not yet.
No, but like, do you think that's where he belongs? Do you think he's the next Tom Cruise or Mark Wahlberg? Like, is he an action star? Is that where he is? I know that's what Sony's trying to do.
Yeah.
But is that where he belongs?
So when you think of an action star, who do you think of? I know mine instantly. Yo, man, who's a dope action star? I know a name right off the top. I just want to know who you are.
Well, like right now, I think of The Rock.
Okay.
Because I think he's the largest action star in the world currently.
Okay.
But wait, who do you think?
Jason Statham.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm like, yo, like I don't would never want to like be near.
I would never want to be
near. That guy would kill me like with whatever's near here.
Instant, yeah.
Like with whatever's around that, like whatever he'll kill me with.
There's a lot of
action. There's so many, but like Tom Holland, of course, for a lot of different reasons, like doesn't strike fear into me. But he also doesn't strike like a comfort, like action hero, like a Bruce Willis. Like, oh, I'm gonna go out there and save him. Like Tom Holland's not gonna save me.
They do.
What's he gonna save me from?
They do a workout montage in this movie for Tom Holland.
Yeah. Oh, guy's good. I know. I'm not saying he's not, but he hasn't done anything yet.
But it also kind of doesn't fit him. Even when I'm watching him work out. Yeah. I mean, he was
for Spider-Man.
He's buff, right? Yeah. Like, it's like you can't say that he's not muscular because, yes, this man's toned, but he even in his biggest version of himself, he's not.
Mark Wahlberg was probably still bigger.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the point that I'm making.
Yeah,
is
I wouldn't classify Mark Wahlberg as an action star.
Me either. Yeah, I wouldn't. But again, Mark Wahlberg does some stuff. Mark Wahlberg's a good actor, though. I mean, I like Mark.
I like Mark Wahlberg.
Funny.
In everything.
I think,
he's got a new movie coming out too.
And it's a drama, and it looks fantastic. Yeah, Father Stu.
Is Robert Downey Jr. an action star?
No.
Is Chris Evans an action star?
Well, they're not action stars. They just played action heroes.
But again,
I buy Chris Evans.
When you look at other stuff, like I would go way more with Chris Hemsworth than Chris Evans.
Yes.
Just by the movie, like even Extraction.
Yeah, Black Hat, right? Or no, Black. What was it Black Hat? Where he's a hacker. Chris Hemsworth, you're saying, right?
Hemsworth, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Anyway, he did a movie where he was another actor.
He's more of a where he did kill me or protect me.
Yeah.
Like whichever role he wants to do.
I agree.
Again, I don't know that Chris Evans has that power. I don't know that Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. has that power. I mean, Tom Holland, I don't see why he couldn't be.
Yeah, I
don't see why he couldn't be.
I'm not sold on it yet.
Like a Harrison Ford adventure type hero. Harrison Ford is a hero.
See, but I do buy Tom Holland in an adventure story. I do.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe he'll be that,
but not
type of guy.
Like, and
because was Harrison Ford an action star?
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
But that's a good point. Huge. He was huge. He was so big.
Yeah. But
he did Star Wars with an Indiana Jones and everything else he did.
Right.
But he wasn't like jumping off of buildings, but he was still a very well-equipped, smart guy, kind of been able to navigate anywhere he went. And maybe that's what Tom Holland
You're exactly right. I think that's a good path for him. I think that's a really good path for him because I do buy him as an adventurer.
And I want to see him do more stuff.
Yeah, me too. I'm a Tom Holland fan.
Yeah.
I really want to see him succeed. He's very good.
Will Smith, he's an action star.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. I mean, if you go down the line.
Day, like I Am Legend.
Yeah, Men in Black. Like
Collateral Beauty.
9 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
Or says
so no, he's not an action star.
Yeah, not yet. But I do think that's where Sony wants him. And obviously, if they put Tom Holland in a role, even like Uncharted, and it makes millions and millions of dollars.
I mean, what it did 52.
They're gonna do
this weekend.
Yeah, I doubt this movie
53?
made more than. I doubt this movie
53?
cost more than 150.
No.
So I think it's gonna make its money, and they're gonna be happy, and they're gonna continue. Yeah, they'll for sure do another one because
Michael
people.
B. Jordan, he action star?
Nah, not yet.
No? But he could be.
He could be.
Like he could be an action star.
Yeah, I agree.
Still going with The Rock as number one?
I don't know how you can pick anyone else. The Rock has done more action movies than anyone else I can think of.
Well, that's what I'm.
Yeah. That's the action. That's the biggest action
Vin
star.
Diesel?
Yeah, Vin Diesel. I mean, he does all Fast and Furious movies, so he's done at least 9.
Yeah.
He's done 9 action movies, but he also did the Chronicles of Riddick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's also done
Triple
some
X.
drama. Yeah, Triple X.
Who's the biggest female action star? Charlize Theron?
For what? Aeon Flux? Oh!
biggest female action star.
Sick burn for Charlize Theron.
She's great though.
She's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, there's a female.
Dang. Female action star.
I don't know. That's a great question. That's a really good question.
Angelina?
I can't believe I can't think of a female action star. I'm embarrassed.
Angelina?
I am embarrassed now. For why? For what? What action movie are you thinking of? The 2 Tomb Raider movies?
Yeah.
No way.
Alicia Vikander for Tomb Raider?
She is so good, and I'm so
She's
mad.
like also this big.
Yeah, but I'm so sad that she didn't become bigger. It's like, just because someone does an action movie doesn't make them an action star.
Well, that's why I'm naming people. Try to think of stuff.
Yeah, that is a bummer.
Female action star,
Think of how many female-led action movies can you think of?
I mean, Charlize Theron did a few.
You named Tomb Raider, and
which was like what?
both
a
the
long time
first
ago.
and the second, or and the remake. Yeah, and then you have Ultraviolet. I'm trying to think of like.
We better name some, or we're gonna get in a lot of trouble.
I know this is bad. This is really bad. I hope someone can tell me great female-led action movies. Well, we saw like Gunpowder Milkshake, right? That was a female-led action.
Karen
movie.
Gillan.
Gillian.
Gillian.
Karen Gillian. Yeah, I it's tough. I can't think of many, which is a bummer. And then the thing is, all those movies have a different female lead.
Yeah, there's not like one.
There's not one female lead that is like, oh yeah, she was in all these movies. Nope, it's just.
Yeah, she did that one movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, it's a bummer. I'll think of something. We'll figure it out.
I mean, I'll go watch it. I might get to it tonight.
It's a really good movie. The thing is, it's fun.
Yeah.
In my list of movies.
That's totally fine.
I know I'm reviewing it as a movie, but you could go to the movie theater and just have a good time watching Uncharted. Yeah. So I'd still highly, highly recommend it.
Scarlett Johansson?
And because of Marvel movies?
Yeah.
Because of Black Widow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking of like somebody that could do it. If like, yo, we need an action star. Who do we call?
I buy Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, totally. Again, we can go down the line and name a bunch of female-led movies where that movie was the only movie.
Betty White, 100%.
Oh, she's the best female.
Next, 007, if we ever had gotten the chance. 100%. 100%. I'll check it out tonight or tomorrow. I'm going to watch it. I have to watch it. Jessica Chastain?
Good.
Sorry. What do we got next?
Well, so of all the things we both saw this week, because neither of us saw our movies, we both saw the Peacemaker finale.
It's done. Peacemaker's over.
I cannot wait.
I am bummed.
I cannot wait to hear what you have to say.
I'm so bummed. I'm going to let you go first.
All right. I'm gonna talk about all the positives of this movie.
Okay.
I mean, this show. First of all,
are we going the whole series?
Yeah. I want to do the whole series because I can't say this enough that I thought this series was gonna be garbage.
Which is so funny because we all thought that.
Yeah.
Not just me and you. We all collectively thought that.
Yeah, I cannot state that enough. I cannot state the lack of faith I had in John Cena enough.
I know, poor guy.
I know. I didn't give him the chance at all. And you know what?
Didn't either.
He's honestly probably not probably. In my opinion, he's the best part of the show because he's just so good. And he fits that character perfectly.
Yes.
And I had a really good time watching this show. This show is outrageous. It is outrageous. But there are times where there's conversations in this show where it's so grounded that you have this contrast of outrageousness and then reality. All like the whole time.
So perfectly balanced.
It's so perfectly balanced. Because you just like they're just killing these butterflies, and then they're having like a very normal conversation, right? And that this outrageousness comes back down with this normalness, right? And so now we're even, and I think that's what is carrying you throughout this whole show.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're looking at it like, oh my gosh, this show is insane. It is insane. When you first look at the cow, you're like,
oh my God, did you
what?
think it was a normal like cow?
I did.
Right? So did I. I thought it was like a normal, like a farm animal.
Yeah, I thought it was like.
Why would I think it was a giant worm?
Yeah.
With huge cow nipples.
What I thought, I don't know if it's what it was. I thought it was a caterpillar.
Oh.
Sort of like.
I thought it was a worm.
Because I was like, oh, are they playing on the like we are butterflies and this is a caterpillar and like I see what I did there.
I thought it was a worm.
I haven't. It could be a worm. I've read nothing that
it makes sense that it would be a caterpillar.
I've read absolutely nothing that
caterpillar
says
to a butterfly. That's
Isn't that poetic?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Isn't that poetic for a show? I thought it was going to be horrible.
I thought it was a worm. I really thought it was going to be a dairy farm cow.
I did too, especially because they're like the cow on the farm, right?
Why would
the biggest rope-a-dope that James Gunn could do? We're going to a cow on the farm.
It was disgusting.
So you see it though, and you're just like, "Oh my God,
so gross!
This is crazy. It's just crazy."
Kind of just, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? It's fine because the next scene. I just have a regular conversation. I think after we see the cow, I think it opens up on the finale, right?
Yeah.
And it's a conversation where Peacemaker and Vigilante are making fart noises every time Adebayo is trying to talk.
She's like, I'm really, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, again, very, very grounded.
Like, hey, we're done with that. He's like, yeah, we were just doing it. Like we were both a part of it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, geez, man, yeah. And that's exactly. You're just like, oh, these are like two kids in middle school, like.
But those moments exist throughout the series.
Absolutely.
And every character I totally bought into.
Yeah.
I was on board with. I felt good. The only thing I thought for sure Adebayo's wife was gonna like somehow somebody.
The way that they shot the end of them when they reunited at the very end, I thought for sure.
Just like stab her.
Yeah,
like,
I thought I thought a butterfly was gonna like burst out of her head.
Yeah, okay.
Just the way they showed it.
And again, still could.
Yeah,
but that's kind of the main thing I thought of. But like Jennifer Holland did a great job. Like everybody did
a really good job.
But I bought into this team.
Absolutely,
because they weren't like a clear cut. Like these are super secret agents and they know what they're doing and they're highly trained Like these are a bunch of idiots.
Yeah,
all of them.
And you also get the sense that there's still like people that were sent on a suicide mission that like, Waller was still like, yeah, we don't really care. So we're going to send a bunch of idiots over there and try to deal with this problem. And obviously the problem is a lot bigger than even Amanda Waller realized.
Yeah.
But then she was like, oh shit, I have the wrong people on the floor, on the ground, right? Yeah. Which leads into the finale where Amanda Waller's like, oh, I have to actually get the right people sent over there.
Yeah. I even loved how it started because I think the way the first episode started set the tone with him killing. Why do I not know their character? Joe Kinnaman.
Yeah.
Rick Flag.
Thank you. Ooh, when they go back.
That's how it started. I'm like, dude, okay, so that's something that happened to him, and I want to explore it.
Right.
So why do I care? Why did that guys killed millions of people, tons of people, whatever he's killed, massive amounts of people. Why? Who cares that he killed Rick Flag? What does that matter?
Yeah.
And then you go, oh well, he thinks he killed his brother.
Exactly.
And he's like, hey, I said I'm only going to kill people for the purpose of something. Like, that's why I kill
for
people.
peace, right?
And they kind of go back like, I didn't need to kill Joe Kinnaman. What the fuck?
Rick Flag.
Rick Flag. I didn't need to kill Rick Flag because there wasn't a purpose for that. Like, that wasn't the right choice that I made. And a lot of emotion. I loved the speech.
The speech.
I'm really bad at this. From Diebeer.
Are
What's his name?
Drunk? Economos is his
Economos.
name. Economos.
I loved Economos' speech at the end when they're like, "Hey, what's your human's memories, or what do you remember about your human?"
And he's like, "Yeah,
dude." And then he's like, "Well, I do this because this is what I thought people would want me to do."
Yeah, I want people to like me or something.
I thought that since I've never had a girlfriend before, that people would care about me, and I thought nobody noticed. And they like cut back to them, and everyone's like,
"Well," and they do a shot on Peacemaker specifically, and he's like,
I didn't know that.
I messed up.
I had no idea. And I'm like, whoa.
Because that's a callback to the first episode, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and they're like...
And everything was so intertwined.
Right.
So perfectly. But even that whole moment, I was like, whoa.
But it's like emotion in a show where you don't expect it, and you don't even...
Because this show doesn't need to have that emotion.
And you don't even... Like, you're not even asking for it.
No.
But it's giving it to you, and it's doing it well. Because I honestly never, ever would have thought that they were going to show us the scene where he kills his brother. And they show us that scene.
Like, all of it.
The whole thing.
And how piece of a shit was his dad?
Oh, my God.
I didn't know...
worst of the worst.
But I didn't know... about, again, we don't know
anything. Yeah,
because these are nobody characters.
Yeah,
again, they're not. James Gunn made them real characters, but I didn't know that this character like existed, which is a very DC thing for like a character like this to exist.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I hope he kills him.
Yeah, and
like,
he does.
Super glad.
And he shoots his dad in the face.
Good.
Yeah.
But again, like and even for like what his character was, like he did a good job, like messing with Chris's psyche and like,
absolutely,
you did this is why you are the way that you are, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, brainwashes his kid,
exactly.
right? Yeah, and
then shows up at the end like, not done yet, pal.
So you really
not done yet.
I know, I'm in your brain forever.
That's scary.
So we got to talk about the ending.
Oh, the big cameo.
The cameo.
The big cameo. Viola Davis. Didn't expect her to show up. I did not expect Viola Davis to show up. They showed her on the phone earlier,
yeah,
which is cool. But when she actually showed up, I was like, "How cool is that?"
When
they like made a mess for her now.
When we were watching the whole thing, Kat was like, "What'd you think?" I was like, "They got some big names for that last episode."
Viola Davis is huge.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely,
big time.
Yeah.
So I didn't think they would show her at all.
Not at all.
Did on the phone, that's easy.
Yeah.
But like,
she's just watching it like,
call her up because she's actually got to shoot a scene, regardless if it was 5 seconds, 8, whatever it was.
Can you come for a day?
Can you come to shoot 8 seconds of something and spend your whole day here doing it?
Right.
She's like, yeah, I'll do it. I'm Amanda Waller.
Dang.
Which
is
so
awesome.
Cool.
Okay, so now that we're talking about that.
Now the big one. Oh, that wasn't the big one?
Oh no, Amanda Waller, yeah. Viola Davis was not. No. So, but
I really did not expect that.
I didn't expect it either. But you're saying like they call her up, they say, "Hey, can you do this thing?" Right? And like, you know what? We don't know anything. She could be contractually obligated to appear in a certain number of things,
like,
right?
Yo, you gotta show
whatever. Up. In my brain, I like to believe that she's like, "I am Amanda Waller, and I will do this for you because I love this character," right?
100%.
And so at the end, after the cow is gone. After the cow's dead.
Let me set this one up.
Okay, go for it.
So I believe that they've been building to this the whole season. Have they not been?
To this moment where
to the
moment,
cameo? Yes.
Yeah.
Because throughout the series, Chris is ragging on these people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And he's talking shit about them.
Yes.
And he's like, I know them. I know them. I know these guys.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you don't. You're a nobody. You don't know these people.
Right.
They don't know you. They don't care about you. They're of no significance to you.
Why would you know?
Like, why do you why do you keep telling people that you know them?
And he
you
makes
them.
fun of them.
Yeah, he like makes fun of them. He's like, oh, he said something about they hung out one time, and he's like, I'll never do that shit again. Something like that. So
funny.
They've been setting it up. I think maybe they hadn't been. Whatever.
No, well, again, I don't know that you know it's a setup until it happens, and then you're like, oh.
But then I look back, it's like, oh,
planting all those
now.
seeds early on, and
Correct.
now it's paying off. Yeah, I think that's what happened. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What?
But how did you feel about it?
Well,
we'll say it here in a moment. We'll talk about it first. Talk about our feelings before we.
You want me to just talk about my feelings?
Yeah.
All right. They were mixed.
Really?
I had mixed feelings.
Oh no! Tell me why.
Because exactly what you said about Viola Davis, and.
Oh, you think it was like a contractually obligated thing?
No.
Oh.
No, because 2 people show up and 2 people don't.
Oh, that. Oh, gotcha. Yes, that.
And so that actually annoyed me because I'm like, you know what?
Correct.
Don't even show the other 2.
Yeah, you didn't need to.
Just show the 2 that actually gave a shit and showed up on your set, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that you're like, oh yeah, they had lines, we made them talk, we put the camera on them, and I'm like, yeah, but guess what? Everybody did. Looked at the other 2 to see what was gonna happen, which took focus off the people that showed up.
That I don't understand. Well, I guess I know why they didn't show the floating man.
Why can't we say
I don't know
it?
why we're not saying
Why
it.
can't we say it?
So I don't know why they didn't. I think I know why they didn't show Superman because I guess are we still under the impression that we don't know who
that we don't have a
is?
Superman, right? So
you could have showed.
Well, so let's just say at the very end of the episode.
Yeah, I don't know why we're.
I don't know why. Yeah, why is this a secret?
That was my fault.
At the very end of not the very, very end of the episode, but the end of the fight, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman, and Superman show up.
Yes.
Okay. But only Aquaman and the Flash actually show up.
Yeah, so Superman and Wonder Woman are silhouettes.
They're silhouettes.
Black shadows.
Superman's flying. Wonder Woman's there on the side. And we only get light on Flash and Aquaman, and they get the lines. And we just sort of have to believe that in that scenario, if Superman and Wonder Woman showed up, they would say and do nothing.
Yeah.
And that actually irritated me.
I can see that, yeah.
I was like, what do you mean? First of all, Peacemaker is holding this dying woman, and Superman's just going to be like, oh, yeah, you walk. Go ahead and walk.
Sorry,
I could pick her up and fly her, but you walk to the car. And here, I feel like he'd be like, I got this.
Yeah.
You know, but it was funny. It was a funny scene, right? Because he's like, you fuck fish or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he's like, fuck you, Barry.
Yeah. And that's why I liked it, because I'm like, it's like a super DC thing to like even have that joke and to have the language.
Right.
Like, it was just funny, and I don't expect that stuff.
I didn't
I'm glad they did it, because again, they didn't need to do that.
Right.
There was no point in it. Like, it didn't enhance anything.
No.
But I'm like, cool. They're like, to me, the way I saw it, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, we still have like a connected universe.
Yeah.
Like these characters all exist in one universe.
That's true. That's a good way to see it.
Christopher Smith and Barry Allen live in the same world.
Yeah.
They're together.
Absolutely.
And so like I took like a comfort in that. I'm like, oh, cool. Like they're still.
Yeah.
Like I'm still again holding on to something that I know is not going to be there.
I get it.
By the end of this year.
I get it.
But like I felt like I was taken back.
Right.
Like an old school, like I still love, and that's why I'll get to it. It was bad because I'm like, this is still not sticking around.
Like, why are you?
Like, why
doing
are you
this?
doing this?
Yeah.
Because I know it's not a.
Like, why are you doing this
we're
to
not
us?
staying.
Yeah.
Before not staying together.
Right.
Cyborg wasn't there because again, we don't know that.
Yeah.
That
they're like, we don't even want to.
Yeah, like we don't even want to do that. So,
yeah.
But like, how cool would that have been if you just saw his chest again as a silhouette?
Right.
So to me, I was like, cool. Like, this is still a connected universe. These characters still together. I'm sure they did it because Flash is coming up this year and Aquaman's coming up.
Of course.
Wonder Woman's not.
Of course.
Superman's not.
Right. I understand. Yeah.
But the thing
she was in another movie.
irritated me at the end. I'm like, you're still tearing all of this away from us.
Yeah. So why are you doing this?
So why are you doing this? Like,
yeah.
There's a good chance that I don't know if Ezra Miller is going to continue as the Flash.
There's a good chance.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
He's not going to do Flash for 10 years.
Yeah, he's not. I don't even think he'll be in 3 or 4 more Like I really think that whatever they're doing, and again, not to go on a tangent with that, like it's all over.
I think so
really,
too.
the only two that are there are Aquaman and Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman still has a movie to do. Aquaman probably still has two more.
Has at least another.
How it goes.
Yeah.
Superman doesn't exist. Like the Flash is not shown.
Batman. I mean, Batman doesn't even really exist.
The Batman doesn't exist at all.
Yeah.
And if you want to continue as Michael Keaton as your main Batman in this universe, I do think you're an idiot. I don't want that at all.
Me either.
I don't want to see Michael Jordan come back and play in the NBA today. He's already done that shit.
Yeah.
Let somebody else come and play.
Yeah.
Jordan's already played.
We're good.
I don't want to see him play. He's old.
I don't mind Jordan coming back as a coach.
Yeah. Let him come back. Let him produce the movies.
Yeah.
But to come back and be your main villain in 2022 with the technology and the actors and everything that we have,
you're
stupid.
Like, nah.
Got a little hot. Anyways, the cameo in the moment was super cool. When he's like,
I was like,
Barry.
what?
I was like, what is up?
Yeah.
Like, only Aquaman would say it. Only Barry would, like, be a dick.
They would
about
tease each
like,
other, yeah.
True, though.
Yeah.
So, like, I thought it was, like, a welcomed addition. I thought it was super, super funny. And I just was not expecting it. And when I heard the lightning from the Flash, I was like, no. I was like, yeah, right. Like, there's no shot. Because I heard it before they flipped the camera around and showed them. And then when they showed them, they were all silhouettes. And I was like, okay, that's kind of funny. Like, all right. They did show up.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning of the episode,
then, and you're just like...
She's like, could we get the Justice League or somebody to help them?
Yeah.
So I thought they would walk by and they would all be silhouettes. And I'm like, that's funny.
And he's like, you guys are late assholes or something,
They did show up and he would just walk by. But when they actually showed him, I'm like, oh, how cool is that?
Right.
Because I thought the episode was over. I thought she died. And I'm like, cool.
But they could have had, I think, they could have had a moment where they made it to the truck. Because I don't like that they interacted with each other.
Yeah.
And they could have had a moment where they made it back to the truck and they turn around and then all the Justice League show up.
You think it would have been better if they were just all silhouettes?
Yes.
And no interaction?
Yes.
See, I think so too.
And like if they turned around and then all of the Justice League were there,
like
right?
All 7 of them?
Yeah. And you're like, and then Chris says to everybody like those those assholes or something, right? Off. And then they're done. But like the Justice League was too late, so Peacemaker had to take care of it.
Also, I guess Barry's always late.
Yeah,
I'm like, he didn't have to be late. He could have been the first one.
He could have showed up.
Yeah,
and he could show up at whatever time he wants to.
But at the end of the day, I liked it. I like that Aquaman got to say the F word. And I know people think that's so insignificant. It doesn't add any value. It doesn't.
Yeah, but it's different.
Fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like, it just is funny to hear Arthur Curry say the F word to Barry and him like, sorry. Like, it's just a funny banter moment between these two characters that I really like.
And again, it grounds you in a moment that you are...
That would probably something they would actually say.
Exactly. You're just like, this moment is amazing, and then they ground you because guess what? These heroes tease each other like everybody else does.
Because they're on the same team, and that's
what
teammates do.
Awesome.
It was a great show. I can't wait for
Great show,
2.
yeah. I can't wait. I was very pleasantly surprised. Very happy with it. All right, moving forward.
We'll knock these guys out.
Yeah, these will be quick. We're just kind of taking a look at what's ahead of us. Mm-hmm. We had some trailers drop. I don't know if you know, but this little thing happened a little while back called the Super Bowl.
Doctor Strange. Oh.
that
also happened.
In that Super Bowl, some trailers came out.
Let's start with Doctor Strange.
All right. So
do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
'Cause I have some controversial
opinions. Yeah.
So I'm let me say this first. I'm super excited for this movie.
Okay.
I think this movie's gonna be killer.
All right.
I visual effects gonna be awesome. I think there's a cool story. Wanda, the whole thing. I think that's awesome. I gonna need to go into this movie on drugs to slow everything down.
Yeah,
because there's so. I'm like, oh my god, I'm getting a headache.
It's a lot.
And it's not a bad thing. It's super. I get it's the multiverse, and I get why things are upside.
Sure.
But I'm like, wait, what is happening?
Yeah.
Slow. Everybody stop.
Yeah.
Oh, so now I have to watch the trailer 10 times to try to catch everything?
Which you're like, am I going to have to do that for the movie?
And that was my thing. I'm like, oh my god, if this is what the movie is, I'm not going to be able to see anything.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
I understand.
It is not a bad thing. I'm super stoked. This is going to be a huge story. There's a lot going on. But oh my god, it was like frame.
You're just
I was like out of breath by the end of the trailer. I couldn't keep up with everything going on. It was so overwhelming.
I agree.
Again, that's probably why this movie's going to be great.
Maybe.
I get it. It's a Marvel movie. They're going to make it make sense. By the end of this movie, I think we'll hopefully know what's going on.
Maybe. I don't know, man. So. I don't know.
But man, it was just like I watched the trailer. I was like, I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
No,
I have to go back and watch it again.
Well,
because it's so fast.
And to be fair,
there's so many colors and shapes, and it is.
That's not an exaggeration.
Is correct.
Yeah,
like this is madness.
And to be fair to the trailer, it doesn't have to be a trailer where we do understand the movie just yet, because it's just trying to excite us for a movie, right?
Dude, I am excited.
But if you have been paying attention at all to what's been going on with this movie, then you know that it underwent significant reshoots.
Correct.
Because people did not understand the first cut of this movie. Mm-hmm. And that worries me. Because then you put out a trailer and you're right. You're like, some of these don't look like they're part of the same movie. Like, it looks like you're telling multiple stories here. So we do have a storyline with, obviously there's a multiverse, and obviously we're getting, I don't know if we're getting variants or if we're getting, the same. I don't know how they're going to explain their version of what has been going on in the Disney Plus shows. Yeah, is what I'll say, because it looks like an episode out of What If, and I'm like, is it the same episode? I actually have no idea. So if you go watch the Doctor Strange episode on What If, then you're kind of like, oh, that sort of feels like what I'm about to watch right now.
So do we just have at least you don't know what's going on?
Not a clue.
Okay, because I have no idea.
But I think...
again, you tell that to somebody, like, wow, how do you not I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
how do you know what's going on?
Yeah, don't pretend like you do know, because you don't. Because you have no idea. We are hoping things are going to happen. Like,
again, is it based off what is it? Is it continue of WandaVision? Like, I have... And again, I know it sounds like I'm talking shit. I'm not. I'm super excited because I want to know what's going on.
Absolutely.
I want my questions answered. At the moment, I couldn't tell you what's going to happen. Are they trying to get into the multiverse? Are they trying to stop what happened in Spider-Man No Way Home?
Yeah.
Are they trying? Whatever they thought they stopped in Spider-Man No Way Home actually happened,
right.
And so people are starting to come. Like, is there any connection to Spider-Man No Way Home at all?
At all?
I
or the shows?
But from we don't know nothing. From the super limited knowledge I have on comics get like this.
They do.
Comics are so confusing. There's so many timelines.
Yeah.
So reading a comic book is confusing. She's like, yo, I just read in this issue that... So now this doesn't exist?
Right.
So comics are really confusing.
Yeah,
because there's so many storylines, but movies shouldn't be.
Are they really going to make us go back and... Again, I've disagreed with this game plan from the get-go.
I didn't see What If.
Right, but if they're like, look, if you didn't watch Disney Plus shows, you're not going to understand this movie, and I disagree with that game plan. I
can't imagine they would.
I hope again, you're in. Even
does this have anything to do with the events of the first Doctor Strange movie? Like,
because the bad guy, the villain's in it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what?
Is it going to be in it for the first 5 minutes, and they're like, oh, we got to go through that door, and then everything flips back, and we're going to be in like Iron Man 1 and like,
which again is cool.
It is, but I don't know what that's going to have to do with the story.
Right.
Now they're talking about like all this again. The whole spot, like, is Ryan Reynolds gonna show up? Why would Deadpool show up in Why?
Yeah, and I'm reading again. And Tom Cruise and X-Men.
Hey, I know what the multiverse means. It can be anything from anywhere ever. You could have Ronald Reagan show up for like all it matters.
Absolutely,
I get that, but is it gonna be
a good story?
Is it going to be in the favor of the movie, or is what we were afraid of in No Way Home for fan service happening here?
That's what I'm afraid of.
If Hugh Jackman shows up in this movie, it's fan service.
Absolutely.
It's not to progress the story. It's not needed. I'll tell you right now.
Which means that the average person can't go and watch this movie.
I'll eat my words. I'll say it.
Yeah, and that's fine.
But I'm telling you, Wolverine's dead.
Yeah. Hopefully forever.
Well, Diego, the multiverse, he could actually be alive in another timeline.
Sure.
Of course he's alive in another timeline.
But we don't.
But in our timeline, where the world makes sense,
He's dead.
and where your normal people understand, the last time they saw Hugh Jackman, he was dead.
Right.
Know him to be dead.
I agree.
So,
I don't think we need
again,
to.
It's just.
I am worried this is another No Way Home situation, though, because I'm like, if a person can't go and watch and enjoy this movie, then I just don't know what
it's gonna
to feel about it, because if it's not a good movie, it's hard for me because I am a fan. I know what's going on, but I can't just recommend it to anybody and be like, hey, go watch this movie because it's a good time.
If it's a good time, great. I
Cool.
hope it is.
I hope it is.
But I really, and I don't. I go back and forth every day. Today I'm like, it's gonna be a fan service thing.
Right. I go back and forth too.
1,000%. And tomorrow I'm like, no, it's gonna be like they know what they're doing. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to see Wanda like really explore her
Which would be
power.
cool.
We're really gonna get to see them battle it out. Like
Should be
Doctor
awesome.
Strange is also like unlimited power. Like this is gonna be great.
I do hope.
And again, tomorrow, the day
You'd
after,
be
I'm
like,
like, why are we talking about the Fantastic Four? Why, like, what?
I know, but I
James Bond. How is James Bond involved? Like, some shit like that.
That would be
like,
awesome.
Yeah, like, what? Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'd love to see James Bond and Wanda, like, fight or whatever.
feel like whatever.
But it's, to me, I'm like, now they're just trying to...
I get you.
They're going to start saying stuff for, like, oh, we need audience. Or, like, we need...
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the
Because
popular.
if you tell me Hugh Jackman's going to be like, dude, I want to see Hugh Jackman. Hell yeah, I want to see Jackman in, like, the yellow or whatever.
Dang, that'd be
Like,
cool.
why would I not want to see that?
But who is going to understand? I mean, again, I don't want... This is a whole conversation
Yeah,
for
we're just
another
talking about the
different day.
trailer. Anyways, that's how I felt about the trailer. I'm like, hey, I'm super excited. This is going to be great. But I'm like, there's so much going on.
It's busy.
There's
It's
just
busy.
a lot. There's colors and shapes, and there's a good Strange and a bad Strange, and a good Wanda and a bad Wanda. Like, there's a lot. There's just a lot. So, like, again, super excited, but, like, I'm maybe not a big enough fan.
Maybe just having just being skeptical is a place to be, so that you're
but I'm
good
ready.
to go.
I'm like,
I can't
like,
wait. I mean, it's gonna be
like,
awesome.
I'm going Thursday night. Like, I'm doing the whole. Like, I'm treating
it's
it
gonna
like
be
anything else.
fantastic. All right,
Jurassic?
I don't have much to say about Jurassic World.
No, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Original cast coming
Always
back, which is just
always great.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm so
Always
happy. I'm like, cool.
But they're not like, hey, let's start a whole new series with these guys again.
Right.
They already.
Are they done after this?
I would assume so. I thought they were done back then.
I hope they're
And
done.
again, it's cool to have them pop up and like make an appearance and like, hey,
Yeah.
I remember what this was like. That's really cool.
That is cool.
But if they were like, okay, cool, Chris Pratt, you're done. We're gonna get these guys back in.
Then you'd be like, no,
What?
no.
That's not what they're gonna do. OG cast coming back is cool, and Scream It was cool.
Yeah.
Like again, but these are things I feel like these guys aren't sticking around forever. They're just paying an homage to like them,
right?
For like starting what is still continuing.
But I do hope they wrap it all up. I do hope they put a period on it. I hope all of these people go away after this movie.
And is Jurassic Park going away, or we're keeping?
Well, the thing is, look, you have Jurassic Park, right, and then you have Jurassic World, and then you can go to Jurassic Universe, and you can have a whole different cast, and I don't care.
Yeah.
And then you could bring Chris Pratt in one of those movies, and you could be like, you know, and you're like, yeah, but I'm like, you know what? Just wrap this up, put a bow on it, deliver it to the audience, and then be done. Be done.
For sure, will be an XD or an IMAX. Just sound alone.
Oh yeah.
So we'll have to get down to
it. Looks
AMC
like they've just nailed these dinosaurs now. It's just they look so good.
They look so
good. And so I'm happy that it even got this far. I'm like, man, I didn't expect it to come back at all.
Because it's super cool to see non-superhero related movies.
Yeah.
It's so good. But we'll have to get down to AMC.
Yeah.
Go to that
theater. Check out the IMAX.
We might do that. Yeah, to see the big IMAX theater.
Yeah, the actual IMAX. Because you're right. It's just going to be like a spec. Like you're just going to be wowed at what you're watching.
Loud. I think it's going to be so loud.
Every time a dinosaur roars, you're going to be like, God dang.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm super excited.
All right.
So this is the biggest one for me, and I don't know why.
I'm excited about it, but I'm not like, oh my God, I can't wait.
I can't wait now.
But
so here's a big reason why. So Elvis.
Yeah, we're talking about Elvis.
Talking about Elvis.
The Bohemian Rhapsody.
I believe
People
so.
are making
yes,
it?
I believe so. So I've seen Blue Hawaii, which is a movie starring Elvis Presley,
Okay.
a billion times. I've seen Viva Las Vegas a billion times.
Yeah.
My mom made me watch these movies. Sit down. You sit there.
You sit there.
You watch this movie.
You write me
You
a
know how many
report.
times I've seen Elvis bouncing around Hawaii with all these beautiful women chasing after him? You know how many times I've seen him racing cars? Elvis is a race car driver? Yeah, he is in like 10 movies. I don't know why.
He was a war veteran?
I don't know. Yeah, like all this crazy stuff. Again, this is so before my time. Like,
oh, yeah.
It's like not even, like I'm not an Elvis Presley fan.
Yeah.
My mom is a huge one. And I am because like, she watches all these movies.
Yeah.
So we were watching, God, I don't remember which one it was. But we were watching a movie the other day. It was an Elvis movie. I drove down and went to help remove the boxes and stuff. And she's like, oh, you remember this? Like, yeah, I remember it. So we watched the movie. And that same freaking day, the trailer came out.
So you were like, what?
And I was like, what? And I had heard about this movie. I didn't know when it was coming out.
Yeah.
I didn't know what. And I was like, I was just watching the thing with my mom. I was, what? So I watched the trailer the first time. I was like,
You're like,
sure. It looks great. Like it looks like I love music. And then a day or two went by and I watched it again, like closely, and I'm like, there's a lot here.
It's good.
There's a lot of stuff.
So aside from the movie that they're making, it was a good trailer.
It was a great trailer.
It was a really good trailer. It was very well made.
There were so many good shots.
Yeah.
When he was standing behind the neon sign in Vegas, when he was like laying back in the car and the fireworks are going off.
Yeah, it's just like
there were so many good shots.
It was very well. And
I was like, cool, let's go.
Yeah, I got excited.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So next up,
we know what's next.
We're not even gonna say it. Look at the calendar.
Yeah, you know what it is.
You know what's
coming. We'll do that. We'll go watch it, and I want to get that one knocked out ASAP.
Quick.
ASAP.
So we
about
could
it.
potentially have it up by the day it officially comes out.
Yep, that's exactly what I want to do.
So we'll have it up way before.
That's exactly what I want to do. So I think that'll happen at least by Thursday.
All right.
We'll have that one. I'll have that one up at least by Thursday. So
okay.
All right. That wraps up this episode of Diego and Sam Know Nothing. I know a lot covered. A lot of stuff we had to cover.
Man.
Get out of the way. But we got one.
Elvis, go check out the trailer.
That's what if you take away anything from this episode, go watch the Elvis trailer. Listen to the music.
I'm saying Elvis was a better trailer than Doctor Strange.
Oh man, controversy. All right, later.